coming to my panel about why Goku is a good dad, so...
Oh yeah, I love fiction. Yeah.
It's my fanfic, come on.
Okay.
Yay.
Wow,
Is
Dad
that
helped me with my math homework.
Yay!
Goku does less than math.
Hi guys, thanks for coming to our panel. I'm Miss Valentine.
And I'm John, how you doing?
Yay!
Hi, John. How are you?
Cool.
So yeah, starting off, I would have to say my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball is Goku. My favorite arc is Cell Saga.
Yeah.
For me, it'll be Vegeta, and I love the Saint Saga.
Ooh, classic. So, moving on. Welcome to Dragon Ball Z Panel of the Gods. So we're going to cover everything, not just Dragon Ball Z. This title's just really catchy. Please feel free to ask any questions, just raise your hand. Just a disclaimer, we're not experts, we don't know everything. So you might teach us something, we might teach you something. But if you raise your hand and say, well, you see, you're going to have to
Security?
Security, please get this man out of here. Also, spoiler alert, we're going to go over everything from the movie to the series to the games to the manga. So if you're not caught up, we'll get you caught up whether you like it or not.
You're going to learn today.
Yeah, so sorry, not sorry. So we're going to move things in. Is everybody up to date on Dragon Ball Super?
Oh yeah.
All right, well if you're not, then I'm going to show you what I believe is probably one of the best moments in Tournament of Power and one of the best Kamehamehas in all of the series. So yeah, By the way, this song in English is really bad.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's in
yeah, they really are.
I've heard a couple.
I tried really hard to zone out when they first played it in English. I tried so hard. I'm like, no, Ultra Instinct is awesome. I'm not hearing like this fighting the ultimate battle for fun theme song. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, we're not Kageyama. It's just
Not good.
yeah.
I think too, like when this first happened, the initial reaction across all of anime Twitter was, yeah. Like top, it's not the best in all of Dragon Ball, but it is easy top 5. Yeah.
Goku fighting a fusion.
Yeah.
And going like, come in. You talk command man with my feet. If she wasn't that guy, she would have been dead right there.
Oh yeah.
She's right.
And he's holding back.
Exactly. Remember, in Tournament of Power, nobody was full power. Everybody was holding back. So.
You can't kill them. You get disqualified.
Like, yeah, she's out.
She's so good.
All of my love.
I know. Let's go sing Shigami.
Right? Get drunk enough and then we'll start singing.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen in a second.
Right.
Oh, thanks for playing, ladies, but you're out.
Ring out!
Ring out. So yeah, that was definitely one of the, I feel like the coolest moments of Tournament of Power. These are a few others. Goku going Ultra Instinct, Vegeta kind of having his moment against Toppo, our boy band performers down in the corner there. Let's be real, guys, that was like the Dragon Ball Z boy band. And then of course, Goku and Frieza teaming up.
17 of the boys.
17
in the boys.
17 was MVP in this.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who are like, how did he get so strong and it doesn't make sense? Who cares? Because it was really cool and a lot of fun.
I'm just saying, to the power scaling community, calm down.
Yeah, that's the whole series, power scaling.
Those were some really great moments, but for me, I feel like my favorite moment comes at the very end, because you have Goku and Vegeta kind of recreating the classic scene.
Yeah.
Manga, they actually did it sooner.
Yeah, they did. We'll get there. But what I like so much is that in the beginning, you see Vegeta's kind of raised up because of course he's looking down on Goku, but then now at the end of Super, they're kind of on even ground because their friendship and their bromance is like
Equal power.
it's equal. Vegeta's finally through his midlife crisis, and he's kind of.
Goku can't go Ultra Instinct. He's like,
Yes. Yes. We'll see. So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite moments. What was yours?
For Super?
From Tournament of Power.
Oh, yeah, it'll be the probably like Vegeta's like fight like
Yes.
against Tupo, like his fight against Jiren, like when he went all in, like even when like his shirt was just completely ripped off, he was just going at it no matter what, and then he finally just gave like the last of his energy to
I leave it to you, Kakarot. I was like, oh god, emotions. It was good. It was really good. So let's get back into. I've got some news for you guys about Dragon Ball Super returning. My news is there is no news. We don't. Moving on to news. We've had so many different rumors come through the rumor mill. Every single one that seems legitimate comes from legitimate sources, gets shut down instantly from Toei. They are not fooling around.
Now with the news lately, like I don't even know what's gonna happen to the English version, like Funimation.
Yeah. Well, Funimation actually, they just had a merger. Sony owns Funimation, and now Funimation has merged with Aniplex. So Funimation is good. I know there's a lot of people who...
Dragon Ball wise though,
Yeah.
it's still iffy. Like they have other animes if you don't watch Dragon Ball.
Yeah, well...
Why do you think it's iffy with Funimation? There's no...
With the whole drama of the voice actors.
The voice actor drama,
That's not gonna happen.
which I'm not
You
enjoying
got
at all.
this is now back in Funimation again.
But basically, we had a lot of rumors about Super coming back in March. There was articles coming out saying that Funimation and Toei are shopping around the rights, but they would always get shut down, always. So it was kind of like, basically, Newsweek wrote a story and it got shut down, saying that Toei does not have plans to produce new Dragon Ball Super episodes at this time, but then some sources say that they've been in pre-production for almost a year. So it's kind of hit or miss. It's kind of who do you want to believe?
I want to say like they're probably like letting the manga build up enough so they got a good story arc.
Story to work off of.
And then they can work from there.
boy.
So the rumors basically state that they've been in pre-production since fall of last year, which is kind of a year from now.
When the Broly movie was.
When the movie ended. So basically, pre-production is good. Lots of time in pre-production is good, so we avoid things like this. Bad animation, bad writing.
The best episode.
Yeah, episode 5. Apparently they will not be retelling the Broly movie in the anime, but
I think we're not gonna get that.
we're not going to get it retold in the anime.
Yeah, because like the manga just
Skip over it, but we are apparently keeping the Shintani art style, which I wasn't a fan of at first, but has grown on me, and I really do
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
one of those things that like you kind of grew up in.
I think one of the main reasons a lot of people think that Dragon Ball Super is being delayed is because a lot of the heavy hitters at Toei
Oh, man.
this
That
movie.
really good.
So
Oh,
it's a
man.
great time to be a One Piece fan. It's not so much a great time to
Yeah, because
be.
apparently it's been dropping.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard, guys. So I don't. If you want to know Dragon Ball Super updates, I have none. I'm sorry. Sad. Pepe is so sad. But we can move on to something really awesome. Yay! How many people saw this movie in theaters? How many people saw it twice in one day? How many people dressed up as Goku when they had to see it? Yeah. Yeah. So let's kind of kick it off a little bit with a little great moment here. My husband.
I watched this Raw, I watched this Sub, I watched this Dub. Remember when I was watching it Raw in the apartment?
Yeah,
like,
I remember
we're watching
that.
Dragon
What
Ball.
did they say?
Yeah, because I'm hearing you like, is it watching already? What?
Oh, his hands.
Like a whole hand job.
Yeah, I have problems with Gogeta. It's not serious.
Oh.
It's a serious relationship, guys. It's only around for 30 minutes at a time, so you
That
gotta
is
Like,
like a
keep
serious
it
literally
going.
like session, and you come through, it's like all these
The
Gogetas.
Gogeta room, like,
That move is so badass in the game.
Oh, man.
a Gogeta. Look at my boy, he's so fancy.
Did that on 16, I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Gogeta, he's right on a problem in the game, jeez.
Oh, I love this color. This smirk. He did not take this fight seriously at all. He was having way too much fun with it, so yeah, it's definitely.
Classic.
I know it is classic Dragon Ball fight in like scene circumstances, but how amazing is it? What a time to be alive, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but you don't get everything, guys. So, this was the 20th Dragon Ball movie. It was a huge success. The day it came out, it was the #1 film in America for the first 2 days, which was kind of a pretty big deal. It's the 3rd highest ranking anime film of all time. It only comes behind the first 2 Pokemon movies, which nobody's ever gonna beat that.
I remember, like,
Yeah.
what was it, Doraemon, I think, or
Yeah,
something
so
came out around that time in
Yeah.
theaters.
It
And
was-
of course, that took over in Pokemon.
It pretty much made $34 million in Japan, and then it made $30 million here. So
Yeah.
that's pretty close
We helped.
numbers. So we helped. We helped. Worldwide, in all the countries all around the world, it made $114 million. So this movie was pretty huge. One of the things you'll notice is the art style is completely different. This is the art style by Shintani. He basically debuted as an animator in the Dragon Ball franchise with the Yo Son Goku OVA.
Okay.
And then he was made the animation supervisor for the movie. So you'll see the art style is very different. The lines are a little bit darker, everything's a little bit
Smoother.
more rounder. It looks amazing, and I feel like if Dragon Ball is going to be competitive in the anime scene in 2020, it needs to update its look. So I feel like it still pays homage to Toriyama and his designs, but it's kind of more of like a modern take.
Yeah. I want to go like Pokemon Sun and Moon
Oh
animation.
my god, Ash, you did it! What did it cost you? Animation quality. So I personally love this movie. One of my favorite things was the winter coats.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh.
I made a hoodie version of it, so like I have to have it. I definitely want to see more of what happened on Planet Vegeta. Apparently, Toriyama wrote a 3-hour script for this movie. So I feel like a lot of what got cut was what happened on Planet Vegeta.
Yeah, and
So-
the extended cut or anything.
I know. So maybe we might get some of that retold in Super when it comes back. Not if, when, because it's coming back. Toya wants your money.
Just like Spider-Man came back.
Yeah, too soon, too soon. And then one of the really cool moments in this is, so obviously it's cool because it's Gogeta, but you see Frieza here drop from golden form to base form. This is Frieza's admitting defeat. This is Frieza knowing there is no way he can compete with these 2 guys here, like he's done. When have you ever seen Frieza just kind of give up and walk away? And then Gogeta's like, whatever, I'm gonna smirk for the 22nd time. I counted how many times he smirks in this movie. It's a lot.
It's like, that's where the problem started. That
Yeah.
damn smile.
That damn smirk will pull you in every time. So overall, I loved everything in this movie. It wasn't perfect, but I feel like no
I thought it was
anime.
the best Broly movie.
It's the best. When they first said they were bringing Broly back, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
whatever. And then we got this. But yeah, overall, I give this movie a clean 10 out of 10. If anything, just for the ending credits. Like, I don't know who came up with this idea. I don't know whose job it was, but this has become like such a classic thing in just a year. It's like Mom said I'm handsome, so I'm gonna chest pop. So we'll kind of close out talking about the movie with a little bromance action here. Yeah, it's dumb. Sorry guys, I think we'll deal with it.
But I think you're right.
I'm glad it wasn't like a cheap fight that just like, I fight, you fight, okay, let's go Gogeta and over.
Yeah, I was also really happy that they didn't cheapen the fusion with like, oh sorry guys, we ran out of time, and they
Yeah.
actually gave us the full fusion time.
It's like, here's the whole, Stardust Crusade or whatever.
Yes. And come on, like this is amazing. Oh,
There it is.
it doesn't count for nothing, Frieza. Fun fact, in the Japanese version, they actually don't say anything when they fly over the cliff, so that was kind of like a dub-only thing, so yeah, good moment there.
So Frieza had to stall for like an hour.
Frieza deserved it, that's what he gets
I know.
for destroying the planet Vegeta, like, that was for the culture. So, one of the fun things that I love about being a Dragon Ball fan is you're not in the closet anymore when you like anime. Even my mom knows
This changed
who
so
Goku
much.
Oh,
and
man.
Vegeta
Since
is.
the high school
Yeah,
days.
it's true.
So its impact on pop culture has been immense, and I know y'all didn't come here thinking I was going to show you a clip from the NFL, but you'll understand why.
Oh yeah, look.
Oh, yeah.
Yay! Football, Madden, sports. Oh wait, what are they doing, guys? What?
Oh yeah.
they basically did a fusion-inspired touchdown celebration. There's actually a lot of football fans in U.S. football and soccer. There's even a baseball team in Taiwan. They have their Dragon Ball Z outfit and they renamed themselves Brother Z. Like, I don't know how popular this stuff is, but it's not just here in America, it's all over. If you saw this, where people would get together in the town squares in like South America and they were popping off, I mean, it's a pretty big deal. It's even big enough that they make shoes. Yeah.
Those are some pricey shoes, yeah.
It's expensive and they're hard to get if you're, especially in your size.
I have a pair.
Well, small size are easy to get.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. This was a collaboration between Adidas. Everything about these is awesome. The boxes are amazing. The tissue paper that the shoes come in is pretty amazing. So it's definitely, yes, I would love to have a Vegeta pair so I can wear a Vegeta shoe and a Goku shoe at the same time.
Weirdo. I got a Goku shoe and a Vegeta shoe.
Another fun thing, hey guys, Forever 21 had a line of Dragon Ball products that were made for girls. Girls, we no longer have to wear men's smalls. These are for us. I probably own like half of this line. It's a lot of crop tops and long sleeve
That's where your shirts have been coming from?
That's where all my shirts have been coming from. No, they all come from Forever 21.
That's cool.
I just thought it was weird when I saw like Dragon Ball shirts in like Walmart, Target. I'm like, wow,
Walmart has a lot.
This
is the Primitive line here. This is from Primitive Skating. This was launched last May. They had skate decks, wheels, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, socks. Their first collection was so well done. 3 months later, they had a second drop come out, and they actually have a third that came out earlier this year. So these shirts are really nice. They're super expensive. It's like $35 for the shirt. The printing quality is great. Yeah, right? But then you look at the Forever 21 shirts, and they did have stuff for guys in the Forever 21 line, and those are anywhere between 15 to 20.
But
So,
it's just still good to see like a store you would never think of to go
would
and get
have
Dragon
it, especially a store that's aimed at selling to girls, because it's like, let's face it, ladies, we kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to this stuff, so it's nice to be noticed.
You don't have to go Hot Topic anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uniqlo actually had a clothing line to celebrate the Shonen Jump's 50th anniversary. It was so successful that this fall they're going to do a Dragon Ball only line. So these shirts are amazing. The quality's great. They're only like $15 each. They're really good. Yeah, I have 2 shirts from this line. Yes, everything I'm talking about I own. I have a problem. So another fun thing with pop culture is Happy Thanksgiving! Yeah, guys, anime fans, we made it. I won't lie, I teared up seeing this. Like, come on. Did you think 10, 15 years ago as Dragon Ball fans?
Like I was happy when just Sonic was on like the parade.
Yes.
You know?
This was a pretty cool moment. Even my mom, like when I came downstairs, was like, "Did you see Goku in the parade?" Yes. This was pretty cool. He was 70 feet long, 35 feet wide, and he joins Pikachu as the only fictional character from a Japanese anime to be in the parade. So it's kind of a big deal. There's rumors that he'll be back this year, so that's why when people think, oh my gosh, shut up, like, come on, gosh, yeah, oh my gosh. This is really cool. There was people like all over Twitter there who were like, you know, never in my dreams did I imagine I'd see this, so it's a big deal.
They didn't have to do that. Like they could have just worn like plain old clothes. They didn't have to go like special outfits for their clothes.
They were not allowed.
Wow, Macy's promoting a deadbeat dad.
We'll talk after. I have words about that. Another fun thing is, hey guys, Goku is an ambassador for the 2020 Olympics in Japan. He will feature alongside Naruto, Sailor Moon, Luffy, and even Mario. Pretty much, there is merch. I need this merch. Pretty much, they're trying to attract like a younger crowd to the audience. So, what better way to do it than to bring our heroes into it?
That's pretty much like all the most popular characters.
Yeah, this is like the main Jump lineup. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, I know those are like pretty
He's
good characters.
gonna get popped for sensu games.
Oh yeah. Has anybody heard of Dragon Ball World Adventure?
a little bit of it. Like I've seen it like
And they're
rumors and
missing
stuff.
out
I'm
when
just
they came here.
yeah, I'm kind of
This
let's
is-
go to World Tour.
It's pretty much the anniversary World Tour. They're not coming anywhere near us because we ain't cool. These are all the locations that they've been to. Their first stop was at San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
So pretty much they broke the Guinness World Records for the most people gathered together during the Kamehameha.
Oh yeah.
They had 786 fans, and this is officially recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. They had so much merch on display. So much. This was the Marriott in San Diego. They went all out. They decorated it.
Jesus.
And then this is at the Times Square in China. That is
Oh.
I thought that Shenron was shop. That's real. And I mean, I would just stand next to that.
Godzilla in the mall. Why not Shenron?
Godzilla versus Shenron, and then Anne's just outside talking to Gogeta all day, and they're like, "Who is this crazy girl?"
I can totally see you getting selfies like all around the Gogeta.
He knows me too well.
Yes.
Is anybody reading the Dragon Ball Super manga?
Good.
Every once in a while.
Well, you're about to get learned. So here we go, guys. So basically, right now, the manga, if you're wondering, like, who's in charge of this right now, if you see down there, it is basically Toriyama is involved, but he doesn't do the art. He
Gives
kind
the
of
ideas.
he gives plot points, and you'll see here that it's art by Toyotaro. He got his start back in the day. I know y'all probably saw this. He basically took this character. This is from Dragon Ball AF. He got to start by creating a fan manga based on this drawing that was done by another guy, and he gets hired by Shueisha in 2012. So for all you struggling artists, like, there's hope. This guy started out as a fan artist, and now he is.
He got to move
Dragon
up
Ball
from being
manga.
his own fan manga, which is actually a really good manga. I just wish he finished it. He actually got hired to work on the Dragon Ball Heroes manga, and then from there he got pulled into the whole Super. So, like,
So,
very happy with that.
Pretty much Toriyama writes the major plot points, and then Toyotaro creates and draws the story based on it. So he has creative freedom to a certain degree. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. We are in the Galactic Patrol Saga. Manga chapter 42 started in November 2018, and we have this really cool new villain called Moro.
It's like King Piccolo.
He starts out, as you can see in the first line on your left. He kind of basically like starts out as this old decrepit guy, and one of his powers is he can eat energy and absorb it. And as he does that, you can see he starts to get younger and youthful, and then he's trying to compete with Gogeta on abs there, which let's face it, he's gonna lose. So yeah, this brings magic into Dragon Ball a lot.
Bring him back, I guess.
Kicking it back to it. So his thing is he can absorb energy and eat it, and so of course he absorbs energy from Goku and Vegeta and powers up tremendously. He can also manipulate the elements of the planet, as you can see in the other slide, and kind of use it against them. He fought against the Grand Supreme Kai back in the day, 10 million years ago. He had his power sealed away by him, but he can't be killed. So what do? They throw him in prison. Like, hey, that's how we solve all our problems, just throw people in prison.
And we'll never see him again.
Yeah, until he shows up, and as you can see here, he takes energy from Goku and Vegeta, and he leaves them bodied. They were laid out. And I was like, oh no, what's going to happen to our heroes? So basically, the Galactic Patrol, they go to Earth, they bring in Majin Buu, and since the Grand Supreme Kai was absorbed by Evil Buu, he still resides in actual Majin Buu. So he shows up, and he's like, hey guys, this is basically Fat Buu with the Grand Supreme Kai taking over.
Yeah,
He's
because he's
like,
still inside his body. And I like this like whole that they're expanding the lore of Dragon Ball Z, you know, because like I really wish Super would have done this more. Like they would have focused Super where they can just introduce more elements of the world, and this was like a great thing, like great nod. Like we get an explanation of Kid Buu.
expands a lot.
And I was like, whoa, this is great. Like this is new facts.
There's actually a moment where they kick it back in the manga to when Goku's fighting against Kid Buu, and it's like, whoa, it's really cool. I definitely.
Kid Buu technically had God Ki back then.
Yes,
Didn't know
we
that.
didn't know that. So I definitely encourage people to check it out. You can pay $2 a month for the Shonen Jump app and read all the manga you want. It's pretty awesome. So pretty much, Majin Buu, they wake him up, he fights against Moro, but everybody's pretty much getting their ass kicked. Moro's whole thing is he wants to find the Dragon Ball, so he goes to New Namek, he makes 3 wishes. The first wish is his lackey heals himself, which is funny because then Moro just kills him.
Like,
Moro restores his magical strength, and then his third wish is, as you can see here, he releases all the prisoners from the galactic prison. So he basically has an army for himself.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. These guys basically are going from planet to planet. They are plundering all the treasures, and then when they're done, Moro comes and he eats the planet and absorbs its energy.
It's
So
like Galactus.
yeah,
Comics.
it's pretty nuts.
Sorry.
Oh no, you can come in.
Oh, alright.
So we have these really cool moments, really cool character development
Yeah,
moments.
for Vegeta.
Vegeta is still getting character development. So basically, as you can see here, there's a part where Moro tries to kill a little Namekian boy, and Vegeta stops him, and he's basically like, hey, I've got issues with these Namekians, so no, I'm not going to let you harm them. And it's basically a throwback to when he was on original Namek, and he destroyed and killed, like, all of them. So it shows that he's still showing remorse for them. And then we get to this part where they just can't defeat Moro, so Vegeta's like, hey, we're going to go to Planet Yardrat. He leaves Goku, he leaves everybody behind, he's like, we're going to go to Yardrat.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
they all went their like separate side quest kind of thing.
he's going to Yardrat, and everyone's like, oh, he's going to run into transmission. I'm like, you idiot. He ain't
Like,
gonna go
why would
like
you
that.
want to learn that? But when you get to the planet and you learn about like their abilities, it's just not just the whole
Yeah.
teleportation. You're like, he's gonna be able to make freaking Bushins and stuff.
Yes, we have plans, don't worry. So basically he's still showing that he still wants to be competitive, he still wants to get stronger than Goku. I don't think it's like old school Vegeta bullshit, sorry. I think he just wants to get stronger, and he's legitimately angry that he can't
There was
defeat
a
this
theory
guy.
also about Vegeta, the reason why he wanted to go to Yadrak, because supposedly, it hasn't been confirmed in the manga, that supposedly the atmosphere in that planet is really bad for any other race except the Yadrak, which explains why Goku had the heart disease. And that was the whole plan, that to try to get Moro to get to that planet so he can absorb that energy, but apparently
And
also
make him
get him sick. But it hasn't been confirmed, but that was like one of the theories. I'm like,
That's
I
not
really
been
like that
confirmed.
theory.
Stay tuned, guys, it's not been confirmed.
Yeah.
So Vegeta gets to planet Yardrat, and it's like, hey, here we go. He lands there, he gets a warm welcome. They basically are like, hey, you helped destroy the Ginyu Force. You're welcome here. He speaks to the Elder, who basically tells him that, hey, we don't have any special techniques for you to learn against this guy, but we have something called spirit control. And he says spirit control is achieved by shifting, splitting, and growing one's very soul. If you're a Hunter x Hunter fan, it's kind of similar to Nen. And he basically says if you study how the spirit functions, the path will open to you as well. So Vegeta, of course, is like, hey, train me. The Yardrats, they can make copies of themselves, they can make themselves bigger, use instant transmission. They're not a strong race, but they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeves. So
like
it's
the,
kind of how they've survived for so
The
long.
different design they made on the Yadrats.
Yeah.
It's a nod towards the Dragon Ball line.
So this is old school, this is what we know as like what the Yardrats look like, and this is kind of
Akira
what they look
Toriyama's
like.
take on
Yeah.
he did the online game.
So it's like they're kind of shapeshifters, they could kind of change themselves, so it's pretty cool. I'm interested to see what Vegeta's going to learn from them. And then Vegeta's like, teach me, because I need to be strong.
It's like, see you in October.
And then we get some Goku updates. So Goku has been training against this guy Merced. Merced is the MVP of the Galactic Patrol, and he pisses off anime Twitter. Because as you can see here, he can go toe-to-toe with Goku.
Yeah,
He
Super
can take
Saiyan
on
3.
Goku in Super Saiyan 3, base Super Saiyan 3. So of course Goku doesn't get mad. He's like, hey, train me. So basically Goku goes off to train with him, and Merced reveals that he knows what Ultra Instinct is.
Yeah.
He's known all along. Favorite kill? Silence your cell phone, please, sir. He basically, like, he knows about Ultra Instinct, he knows about the philosophy behind going Super Saiyan, and Goku calls him out. He's like, yeah, I kind of had a feeling you knew what Ultra Instinct was, but you have your reasons for keeping a secret, and that's okay with me. So Merced is basically like, hey, follow me to this Egyptian-looking temple, which is basically a room of spirit and time. And Merced says, any doubts I had are gone in regards to Goku, and then he takes him to train. So Merced, there's definitely more to him, and then once they get in the room of spirit and time, he's like, oh, okay, now I can unleash my full power without anyone finding out. There is something up with this guy.
Yeah.
I think he's an angel.
That's what the theory is
I
also.
think
Like, he
he's
might be like a fallen angel.
a god of destruction or something, but it kind of leaves us all like there's so many questions, so we all kind of feel like, what? We're all kind of Goku in this moment. So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out.
Which I love.
Yeah, it definitely expands on the lore.
Like the whole hyperbolic time chamber is different also. I think it's about like
One
day or...
day in the real, it's 1 day in the chamber equals 3 days in the real world.
Yeah, so it's
So.
different.
And then this is just a cool little moment. This is basically different manga artists kind of paying tribute to Akira Toriyama. So you have Black Clover, One Punch Man in the middle, and then My Hero. So it's kind of cool because in a way everybody pays homage and pays respect to like the godfather of shonen. Because let's face it, we wouldn't be here where we are with all this anime if it wasn't for stuff like Dragon Ball and all the original
Or
stuff.
have like, you know, C-series.
Power scan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Power
cool.
ups.
It's pure shonen, so if you don't like it, then you're in the wrong world. Let's get into video games. Oh, it's right here. Bam, there you go. Your turn, John.
Alright, so we're going to talk about the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2, which I'm surprised with this game. I thought this game was going to turn out to be a bad game. Like, not like the gameplay is bad, it's just like it was going to come out and then people play it for like a week or two. Yeah, like a one and done game. But this game has been like holding off for so long. I'm surprised like it's getting still people playing it. A lot of support from the developers. Like they're still releasing DLC. And the last DLC that came out was back in July, and we finally got a 2 Vegetas. It was a Super Saiyan God, red and blue.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, and I'm just like so happy that this game is doing so well that its life is expanding more. I would think that when this game came out, it was gonna be like one done game, but then they're like, oh well, we'll make a part 3 or something. But no, this game is still going strong. And another thing is that it also came out on the Switch recently, and it's pretty much like a demo version of the game for anybody who hasn't played it. And the Xbox and PS4, they got demos, light versions as well. But the Switch version has like exclusives on the system itself, you know, because the whole motion controls, you know, that they brought it back. Alright, so now we're gonna be talking about fanfics, and there's only really like one fanfic
Read
that
my
matters,
fan fiction, guys.
and that will be the Dragon Ball Multiverse, which is probably like one of the best fan mangas I've ever
Which
read.
is almost like kind of canon.
Yeah.
Now.
For the canon for the series, it's like really like solid because these are fans who grew up just like us and decided to do their own take on it. Pretty much like the main plot of this is that we had a mysterious alien race, the Bargra, who discovered technology to travel through different universes, and they ended up going and meeting up with the Supreme Kais and also the Namekians, and they ended up having a conversation, decided like, hey, like how about having a tournament for the different universes that are around there. We bring like the strongest fighters, and we'll bring them to a place where they can all compete.
Almost like a gladiator thing.
Yeah, and it's almost like the tournament power before the tournament power. And they also came to, I guess you could say, our universe, and it's pretty much the Dragon Ball Z cast, 10 years after Z. Doesn't count GT at all, but you're still gonna have Oob and Pan and Brawl. They're all characters in this, like they're like young teens. Goku, of course, like let's do this, right? And he also wants to bring Oob and Pan because he's been training them and he wants to see how much stronger they've gotten. And so they ended up like bringing them to Universe 0, which is pretty much a planet that's like desolated, so they
Almost
can.
like the world of void.
Yeah. It's like Toei's been reading this too.
I know, right?
And they end up like meeting up with all the different fighters, and this is a great place for them so they can pretty much let loose, because in the arena they have like invisible barriers so that the spectators don't get hurt by energy blasts or anything like that. But of course, when the fights get more and more intense, they have to increase the barrier power, especially against like Vegeto's fights, Broly's fights, the perfect Majin Buu. So like the fights get really good in the series. So overall, there's like 20 universes. For us, our point of view, is like Universe 18, which is, like I said, the Dragon Ball Z canon. They consider everything canon up to Z, a little bit, you know, they include, like I said, like Pan and Oob and all that. They ignore a couple of the movies. GT doesn't count, Super doesn't count because that was still going on.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of hit or miss because like I would have liked to see like Beerus and Whis in this. And one of the things is that I love is that they don't retcon Vegito like they did in Super. Like Vegito is an actual.
There's a universe where he stays fused.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these different universes. What they are is like kind of like what ifs. So you have like our main canon, and then you have like the Cell who won the Cell games, where he ended up killing Gohan because he wasn't brave enough. Vegito, like he, you know, beat Boo. Like what was the main difference that he didn't put the warrior down, so he ended up beating Boo, and then he stuck in that form and became like the Galactic Protector.
And he's got 2 wives.
There's a 17 and 18 universe where they ended up killing everybody, even Trunks. There's actually a Trunks future, which is our Trunks, so he's like, for him it's weird because it's only been a couple of years, but like he sees Gohan older and he's like, wow, it's like so much has changed. And one of the things I like is that he has Android 16 with him because he realized like he wasn't activated, so he's like, well, I heard you were a good guy, so let me bring you with him. Yeah, and let's rebuild the whole planet. And there's a bunch of other stuff too, like, you know, Frieza who beat everybody, Bojack. There's Majin Buu who Bobby controls him like much better than he did in the original series. So things like that. And also like Broly, like he's in this, so like he destroyed everything. And then the reason that he gets found because he's like encased in ice because he just was floating in space and nobody, you know, could find him until this tournament. Alright, so the story so far, we're up to chapter 70. And the main thing is like we're in the 3rd round of the tournament and Bobby D ended up like teleporting the strongest fighters that he thought while watching the tournament out from the tournament and somewhere far away that they couldn't like teleport back or fly back. And he just took the minds of every villain, spectator, and the fighters in the entire arena. And even if they have like a little bit of like evil or hate in them, he took control of them. And the fights in this is like pretty much a big battle royale. It's really cool. And I want to say that if you're a fan of Gohan, then this is a chapter to get into because it's so good. Because like there's 2 Gohans. It's like our Gohan and the Vegito universe Gohan, and pretty much it's not like Super Gohan. Like he's kept his like mystic form, and I like the way it's written, which I feel like it should have been written. Like the whole ultimate power is that like your power never wanes. It's just like, oh, no matter how many years pass, your power is still at peak, and you can still keep going stronger. The only thing is you can't turn Super Saiyan. And we get to see some really good fights with him, Piccolo, Pan, Goten, and they fight like all the different villains. Like King Cold gets possessed, and we get to see also a 5 form, level 5 form of his. Cell, the perfect Cell. Like Cell's character just surprised me. Like I thought he has a good rematch with Gohan, but his heel turn in this storyline is really good. Like I thought it was great. But the main like sort of villain in this was Brawl. Like she's from the Vegito universe, and she has this thing where like Gohan, where like when she gets mad, she goes berserk. So like her thing is she can go Super Saiyan 2, but like when she does that, she goes like Broly. Like she doesn't know who she is. But while she's controlled by Bobby D, she has perfect control, and she is ridiculously overpowered. And it's a really good fight. And also they have like filler chapters, which is used to expand like the whole lore for this story. And right now they're up to the storyline of like kind of like what if Trunks never showed up, and we kind of get to see that story. And I've seen other fanfics done this well, and where we get to see the story, but this I want to see their take. And so far it's not that bad. Like we get to see, you know, just Frieza show up. He sends like his men like what he was about to do when Trunks showed up. And I feel like when the enemies show up to attack the different cities, I feel like that's what should have kind of happened in Resurrection F. Like we get to see the Z Fighter, like they all defend the cities and the civilians and stuff like that to protect them. And right now at the point where the page ends, is that Piccolo is about to fight Frieza. And I'm just like, ooh, I want to know how you're going to hold off on him, because everybody kind of like split off, trying to kill off the enemies. So that's what I think that the filler arcs in this, they're all drawn by different artists, but they get to tell like different stories of each of the like what ifs in this, and I think this is going to be pretty cool.
Bam! Let's talk about some Dragon Ball FighterZ. Does everybody know what this game is? Anybody here never played this
I
game?
play Smash.
I play Smash Player. No, I'm not because I took a shower this morning.
Oh.
Right. So kids,
That's true.
let's get into it. But how can you open a fighters panel without paying homage to this amazing guy right here?
We got the control.
Oh, man.
This is footage from Tokyo Game Show. So yes, fighting against Janemba. My goodness, this is his level 3 into a level 5. But if you spend the cash, you can do the full force Kamehameha. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, that was me. That was me at 3 o'clock in the morning watching this and being like, I'm so excited. We get Gogeta. And now I have to update this panel again.
Yeah, pose, yeah.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Gogeta is here in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Look how amazing he is. So let's get into it. So basically, he has 3 level 1 supers. Here is our first one. This is the Stardust Fall. It's beautiful. Then we have the God Punisher.
You have to connect that all together.
Spend that cash.
Yeah.
And then we have the Big Bang Kamehameha. Yes. So he basically has 3 level 1 supers. You can spend the extra bar to toss in the Stardust Breaker on the end there.
Yeah, so that means somewhere like 6.
He is definitely broken and I love it. The amount of care that they've put into this character is pretty amazing. You can see here, this is basically, they've mixed movie 12 with the Broly movie. So it's kind of, yes. You want to see it again? I'll
Who's
play
my
it again.
handsome boy?
Yes. Mom said I'm handsome, guys. And then you have like really cool stuff, like this is his spin kick here in the movie. And then we get it over here in the game.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good way to get your enemy from one side of the screen to the other.
yes, that moves side switches, kids. So yes, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta joins the fight, and I could not be any happier. Like I said, the amount of care they've put into recreating the movie.
Yeah.
As you can see here on the right, that is the movie. On the left, that is the game. They have pretty much put so much into this character, and it's probably because Toei is like, hey, this movie made a lot of money, so you gotta do this right. It's pretty awesome. He can do anything in the game. He can do the Kamehameha, the Gallic gun. He has a really high damage output. His reflect is so disrespectful. It's amazing. He does have moves that can side switch. He does have a triple overhead. And he has a full screen grab. It cannot be blocked. You can jump it or super dash it, but it cannot be blocked.
Yeah.
But it's flashy though.
It's everything he does is flashy. Everything he does is amazing. The way you can string combos with him is just so impressive.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. He's tall, which means he can be fuzzy, but my man likes to stand tall, so y'all gonna have to deal with it. And he does have a dramatic finish if you play Land of the Kais against Janemba. He does have a dramatic finish that basically recreates the ending of movie 12 perfectly. Like, I love this. You have his character introduction where he's fusing, and they actually have Vegeta blushing.
Yeah.
Which is totally from the movie because he's blushing, he's adorable. It's okay, Vegeta, we still love you. But yes, the movie style really does match him so well. It just makes me really makes me a really happy fan.
I love how he does the quotes to different fusions characters and that.
Yeah, it's really cool. They did a really good job with him. He looks great, he plays great, he's broken, which is fantastic. Yeah, y'all know it. So yes, then we're gonna get into kind of the world tour here. So did everybody here watch Evo? Yes, so y'all know what's coming up. This is in real life Goku versus Vegeta. This is Sonic Fox versus Goichi Grand Finals at Evo this year.
Last character between Goichi and Evo Championship. Can he take out Sonic Fox's Kid Buu?
Yeah. This match was like intense to watch. Like if you didn't feel something watching this match,
The final fight.
It was emotional.
this was even their fight. I think where Sonic went to losers,
Yeah.
was about 45 minutes of just, I can't choose between my kids. Like, who do I want to see win? Because they're both so amazing.
Yeah.
And then we got this, and it was just, I can't, like, it was so good. It really was. I know, like,
almost got caught.
It was really hard to pick someone to like root on for, I can tell you that.
yeah, it's like whoever wins, it's like amazing, but there's just so much passion.
Goichi was ready for it. He brings them up. This is it. Drop them, keep it simple. There it is.
And here's the thing that gets me is like Sonic Fox is the defending champ, and look how gracious he is. He just lost, but he is so gracious to his opponent.
He looks like he lost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
their friendship like is so beautiful. It really gives me hope for this.
Me one day.
Yeah, come on, guys. Like, it's just really amazing. It's really amazing. Imagine like if you're a defending champion and you lose, like what's going through your mind and what are you gonna do? Like most people wouldn't be this gracious, but this is really
He
cool.
could have just walked off.
Yeah.
It's just great.
So this was a really cool moment at the Dome. This is our current standings in the World Tour. Obviously Goichi is on top, Fenrich, and then Sonic Fox. So yeah, we still have a couple more stops on the World Tour. It will wrap up early next year in Paris, France, of all places.
December.
So let's move on to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yeah, alright.
I gotta ask, has anybody played this game?
Oh.
You did.
We'll get into it, don't worry. I just had to show off a little bit. So pretty much this game is being worked on. Akira Toriyama is involved, so we do have some official stuff. And let's get into it.
That was the trailer I was going to post online.
I got it.
Because it's short and sweet.
So all the people who are like, we played this game already, no we haven't. I know we've played through the story of Dragon Ball before, but never like this. And if you're gonna complain, oh we played this already, then don't play it. Then don't play it.
Go play Legacy of Goku again.
This
Am I ass killed by wolves again, John? No!
It wasn't okay.
Maybe you'll get wolves in this one.
guys, Gohan had a rough childhood. Just
It's the greatest thing ever.
Yes.
Same is great.
The great Vegito. It's like, I don't know who that is.
he tries really hard. Yes, I'm excited for this. I don't care.
Yeah.
We have a release date, 1/17, Q1 next year. It's gonna be crazy. Here's some fun footage for you guys that somebody took when they went to E3 this year.
Oh, you know somebody on the inside?
I know somebody on the inside. Industry. Yes, so this was the booth setup at E3. It was amazing. It was really cool.
It's like I'm there.
I know. It's like you're there, guys. I played this game. This is my one F-bomb I lied myself. It's rad as fuck. I loved it. It was so much fun. This was inside the little capsule court building. They had a video explaining it. This game is going to expand on backstories that were not told in the manga. Toriyama is involved, and this game is not open world. You'll have the chance to play as Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, and Future Trunks. Krillin, Yamcha, Tien are support characters. It was initially announced as Project Z, and then at E3 this year, it was named Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and they had these really cool lanyards that somebody took like 8 home. Yeah, so it was just a really cool booth setup. Who's that nerd? Who's that's me? I was really happy. This was at the moment I'm playing the demo, and then the instrumental for Chala kicked in, and I was
Where
like,
were you at
oh my
though?
gosh.
Like, what was the demo world? Was it the Vegito demo?
It was fighting against Raditz,
Okay.
which he had like 16 health bars, which
Of
this
course.
is
Well,
not.
of course he does.
So we've got
He needs
some,
all the help he can get.
we've got some footage here. This was recently
And this is the video I just saw.
from Tokyo Game Show. So you have the top 2 videos are kind of more the fighting aspect of the game.
Yeah, it's that 1v1, and then you also have where you can have 1 versus 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And then the bottom 2 here, these are more the RPG exploring, the fishing. Yeah, you can fish. Yes. Basically, any food you collect in the game, you bring back to Chi-Chi. She cooks for you. It gives you boosts. It gives you like health boosts. It gives you
So
buffs.
good.
So it's pretty cool that they've kind of made that part of it. Look at Vegeta. He's like, oh, God damn it.
Again?
I know. Vegeta's so
I'm so happy with the world though. You can fly around the city, so like it brings you back to the old.
You can. So here's kind of the thing. You can go out in the wilderness. Yeah. I don't know.
You gotta get that milk, man.
Japan. You can go out in the wilderness. You can hunt down all this food. you bring it back to S tier wifey, Fight Me,
I agree.
and she'll cook for you. And when you eat it, you get like all these boosts and stuff. A nice little fun throwback in this game is tail fishing, which if you're OG,
Yep.
Oki did as a little kid. So
I was like,
he
okay.
was naked a lot in Dragon Ball. He really was. I'm like, man.
Gotta protect his Dragon Ball.
I know, we're done with that. So it was really cool. So basically, we are going all the way up to Boo Saga. They just recently announced Boo Saga.
I'm happy about that.
And then we've got a new character, guys. A new Ginyu Force member. So her name is Banyu. And you know how everybody in Dragon Ball has a pun on their name.
Yes, she does.
The pun on her name is
Breast milk.
breast milk.
Like good old Cambodian breast milk.
She is actually designed by Akira Toriyama. It's pretty cool. She makes her first appearance in a subquest in the game. She basically was an original member of the Ginyu Force. She quit though because she thought their posing was way too bushy for her taste. So I feel this girl.
She can't dab, that's the problem.
Yeah, she can't dab. But it's pretty cool. It's cool that Toriyama designed this character.
Yeah, I like how we get an original character done by Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, he's still showing involvement because at the end of the day, the man needs a paycheck just like the rest of us. But so yeah, it's pretty neat. One of the really fun things about this game is.
GTA.
All right, guys. Yeah, this is Dragon Ball Z GTA. So y'all remember this filler episode? This was like the best filler episode ever. Well, guess what? It is a mini game in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Also, I heard that. I didn't expect it.
Pretty much you can fly around the world all you want, but if you want, you can drive a car. So once you drive at the driving school, you'll have to pass the test. It's like a time attack mini game. And after that, you'll be able to drive around. I mean, come on.
So good.
It's pretty ridiculous. And we all know that Toriyama's obsessed with cars and machinery and drawing stuff like
He
that.
loves to draw machinery.
So this is kind of a fun little throwback. Another thing, here's the cover of the game. As usual, anime Twitter was pissed. They thought the cover was basic.
It's like Spider-Man.
But this is the problem with not having Superback, is that Dragon Ball fans are so like, spoiled, and so like we need something to complain about. So it's like if you go on Twitter, there are people who have redesigned this cover.
Yeah.
So it's pretty ridiculous. Here is the collector's edition. Yeah, it's happening, guys. I don't know the price point on this. They haven't really given it yet.
$129.
Yeah, probably 150. I think that's what the FighterZ special edition was. You get bonus cooking items. You get subquests. You get the game hardcover. Yeah, you get early access to training with her. And then you get a hardcover game book, a diorama figure, which if you're a figure hoarder like we are, you're gonna get it. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And then if you pre-order at GameStop, you get this really cool fig pin of Goku saying "Happy Your Energy." So it's pretty cool. I'm excited for it. Like I said, for people who are complaining, well, we played this game before. Like, well, this is the new generation's version of it.
I was worried it's gonna be like the typical Dragon Ball game where it's like you play from the Saiyan saga to the Cell saga and that's it. Then wait for part 2 and we'll add in Boo. No,
And
put it all in.
Who knows? Like, it could be to the point where if they want to start releasing DLC and going into stuff from Super.
And yeah, well,
And Battle of
Toriyama
Gods?
said that he's gonna do side stories. So we actually might get some lore expansion that I hear that might be considered canon because we might be seeing something with Gohan and 16.
Gohan and 16.
Supposedly like some sort of like
They're
short
gonna-
story that expands
They're
their
going to
little
expand
relationship.
on the relationship between Gohan and 16, which will kind of like add a little bit more depth to when he dies and gives us the best scene in all of Dragon Ball Z and all of anime. We can fight outside if you don't agree, it's fine. But so that's kind of a wrap on our panel, guys. We're gonna choose our raffle tickets, but I wouldn't leave you without a nice little send off here. So
Oh my.
there we go. You're welcome. Don't worry, it's not English. Don't worry. This is like one of the best Dragon Ball. This is like the best Dragon Ball Z song. This is just
up there, right?
the hype level. I think my favorite part is when Vegeta's like they're fighting together. I'm like, yes, Vegeta.
Like, that's another thing. Like you never in a million years would think Goku and Frieza would team up to fight somebody.
Did everybody who's in here get a raffle ticket? Everybody good? Okay. All right, let's pull it out. All right, pick the first one. Read out the last four.
0269.
0269. Nobody? Oh man, y'all need to stop. All right, picking the next one. 0271. Yeah, you can come pick a pop figure. Yeah. Yeah. Throw me out.
The best character? 0270.
Yo!
Oh, this guy. Someone kick this guy out.
Hey, it's Hellpocket.
All right, picking the next
There's
one.
another guy.
0260. Yay! Yeah, you don't stop. It's the famous cosplayer. Interwolves. Ninja. Pick the next one, Jen. Oh, I love this part.
0272.
Yay! Alright, let's see. 0267?
Yeah!
Come on up. Oh, look at my boys going over there. Go Queen boys. Alright, and our last winner is
0262.
0262. Come on up. Yay, thank you. Alright, well that's our panel, guys. I have stickers up here if anybody would like some stickers. Thank you for coming. Yay, we love Dragon Ball.